You know, they call this panel the future of news, so I wanted to begin with this provocative thought by Clay Shirky. He says, if I was going to start a news business tomorrow, I would start a news business designed to produce not one bit of new news, but instead to aggregate news for individuals in ways that matter to them. Now, I don't think that Shirky is saying that content is unimportant, but rather that in the news businesses of tomorrow, the way you curate news and the way you deliver it will be paramount. There are new ways of delivering news and stories, and I've come here today to give you just a little glimpse of what we believe will be the future. But first, I wanted to tell you a little bit about the organization that I work for. It's called Link TV, and in many ways, I think that the history of Link is symbolic of the way the media landscape and media delivery is shifting and has shifted over the last decade. 10 years ago, Link TV was founded by a group of visionary journalists. They founded the first independent, nonprofit national television network dedicated to global issues. We called it Television Without Borders. And it comes to you via a satellite dish. So if you have a little dish outside your house, and that's how you get your TV, then you get Link TV. And indeed, 1 out of every 3 American homes, 33 million homes, get their TV in this way. Think of that as Link 1.0. But I'd say about 5-6 years ago, we realized that the way people were ingesting their media was rapidly changing. I mean, you only have to have a teenager in your house to know that my teenagers don't watch TV at all anymore. They get all of their media off of their computers and their handhelds. So we started about 4 or 5 years ago to aggressively move our content online to linktv.org. And today we have about 4,000 high-quality stream programs online. I think people come from all over the world, especially for our news shows like Mosaic, World News from the Middle East. Now, there you can see 2,000 episodes. They're all archived. They're all transcribed. You can search them. And as Shirky says, we are an aggregator. We didn't create this programming. We curated it. We picked the pieces we thought were most important for Americans to see. We translated it. We combined it, and we put it online so people could see it. Think of this as Link 2.0. Then about 2 years ago, we put all of our smartest new media people in a room, and we said, what's next? What's the next wave? And they all said, well, the next wave after mobile is semantic web. So what do we mean by semantic? Well, let me show you an example. Right now, if you were to Google the word turkey, you would be as likely to get a great Thanksgiving recipe as you would be results for the country. But using semantic technology, code writers have been able to examine the context of the word, the sentence structure, the surrounding words, and by analyzing that, they know immediately that what you're looking for is Turkey, the country. You see, the web right now is one huge open library of data, one big database. And in some ways, it's not that there aren't good news stories out there. It's that there's too many, right? There's so many articles, so many blogs, so many news pieces that we feel inundated by information. We can't find the stories and the news that we really want. We're not good at linking to the data. So that's where semantic technology comes in. By understanding the deeper meaning of the words in the media and creating smart tags for that media, we're able to help you pinpoint what it is you really want and find it when you want it. So what does that mean for video and for news? Now I want to give you a glimpse of what we think is the future. This is Link 3.0. It's the beta side of the project that I'm working on called linkviewchange.org. Now this is a project that's funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and it brings together all of the best video stories around global development. You could think of this site, if you will, as a bookstore. You know, some of us go into a bookstore knowing exactly what we want, but most of us, we like to browse. And on viewchange.org, you can browse through over 1,000 different topics that our semantic tool has realized are embedded in these stories. You might walk down the aisle of education and then say, you know what I really want are education stories from sub-Saharan Africa. You could take a look at what the offerings are, see something you never knew existed before settling on the story you really want. In this case, Burning in the Sun. So Burning in the Sun is the story of a great entrepreneur, social capitalist, who is in Mali, and in his village, 99% of the homes do not have power. So he decided to build low-cost solar panels right there in West Africa. But here's where the semantic part comes in. We're able to link you to that open database I talked about, the most relevant videos from YouTube and beyond, the most relevant articles from over 1,000 different news sources, and the most applicable actions. So if you're inspired by that news story, by that story about Daniel Dembele, you can take action. Perhaps you might want to make a donation to the Peace Corps in Mali or even join. We like to think of this as the combination of the video sharing power of YouTube with the open information of Wikipedia, married to the mission of your favorite global development NGO. That's view change. So how does this work? Let me quickly take you around to the back end of our site, where we've loaded in that same story, Burning in the Sun. We've loaded in the transcript of that, and when we hit this button, it takes our transcript and runs it through our semantic extraction algorithm, which deducts that these different two dozen tags, these topics, are embedded in that video. And it's pretty smart, isn't it? Because it knows that things like developing country are not two separate words, but it's an entity, it's a concept, and it checks it against two big open databases of information. And not only that, it weights all of these topics for relevance. So this algorithm has said, well, this video is about 91% about alternative and solar energy and 90% about developing countries. And taking all of these tags weighted in just this way, it then goes into that open library of information and pulls out the most relevant videos. You see a lot of YouTube, but also CNN.org and other things. The most related articles from really over 1,000 different news providers, and the most related actions. So we think this is a pretty cool tool, and it's one of the very, very first applications of semantic technology to video. And experts tell us it is the only application of semantic technology to a social change cause. But innovation and good tools are not enough either, are they? We need to get these powerful stories into the hands of people who can really make a difference. So we've also created some interesting sharing tools. In viewchange.org, you can save 2 or 3 videos, a couple of articles, maybe an action campaign to your personal profile page. It's a public-facing page, so then you can send that URL to a funder, to a Newsweek reporter, to your constituents. Also, for Facebook users, you can post a stream of your favorite videos to your Facebook page along with a shout out that these are the things that I find really interesting, these are the causes that I support, and share that with your whole community. And also we've created an advanced embeddable player. So if you're a blogger, you're an NGO head, you can actually embed this video right into your page, right into your website, and it brings along with it all those opportunities to watch more, to read more, to take action. And those are dynamically generated, right? So even 5 years from now, you're going to have very fresh, up-to-date results in those tabs. Getting back to Shirky and what he said, in viewchange.org, we haven't created one piece of content. We're aggregating the best articles, the most relevant videos, the most relevant blogs and actions, and we're inviting users to disseminate them widely. So how do we leverage this tool to support Link TV as a whole? Well, this site is devoted to global development, but next we've received a Knight grant to reskin this site for news and test these tools on 16 to 25-year-old news watchers. We're also talking to a government agency about building a semantic platform for climate change stories. So I think in the short term, we can get grants, we can get contracts to apply this tool to different verticals. But could we also earn income from some of this work? What are the products that we could charge for? Maybe an advanced, customizable, embeddable player. Maybe we add semantic video pages to your site for a setup fee and a monthly charge. These are some of the business models that we're investigating. And finally, what about the biggest play of them all, media convergence? That's the day when everything that you can do on your computer, you can also do on your television, on your handheld, on your iPad. Well, I think that Link TV has some powerful assets in that realm as well. I mean, after all, we own our own television network, and it's unencumbered by advertisers or affiliates. So if we started to put little buttons so that you could see who else in your Facebook community was watching the same show, and you could comment back and forth, or maybe a little button on the side so you could bring up articles that are related and save them to your computer for later on. No one in our realm, no advertiser, no affiliate is going to squawk at that. It gives us a real ability, I think, to innovate and to experiment. We also have a very dedicated viewer base, 5 million regular viewers who trust us, who support us with their donations. They're a self-selected base who demonstrate an almost wonkish desire to know more about the world. So if we take those assets and combine them, cutting-edge technology, a dedicated community, kind of early patient capital from foundations and donors, and the ability to move media across many platforms, I think those are the ingredients that we'll be able to harness if we can find investors willing to ride this wave with us. And in doing so, I think we'll be able to play a very important role in the future of news, not by creating new content, but by pinpointing the content that you want and delivering a more personalized stream of news directly to you. If you remember nothing else, I would say to you this, that the future of news will be social and it will be semantic. And I think that the successful news enterprises of the future will be those that can harness those two concepts. Thank you.